Hello, friends, and welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin, and in today's video, we are going to look at the communicative functions of modal verbs in English. English grammar lesson for you and for all who are desirous of gaining proficiency in the use of English. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be notified instantly. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Now, what are modals or modal verbs, if you like? Well, there are various names. You can call them modals or modal verbs or auxiliaries, or modal auxiliary verbs, as some people would call them. Now, these are used as helping verbs. They basically describe the main verb. They modify the main verb and give a new meaning to the sentence. All right? Now, usually, a modal verb or, a modal auxiliary verb cannot be used alone. When you look at this, I work, work actually is a main verb. I can work, all right? You see that this can introduces a new meaning here. I work, has its own basic meaning. But I can work introduces the idea of ability, being able, ability, all right? I must work then introduces necessity or compulsion. I should work introduces moral obligation. All right, so these are the kind of things that modal verbs do. Now let's look at the various modal verbs. Can, could, must, have to, should, would, will, shall, shan't, won't, wouldn't, shouldn't, don't have to, mustn't, couldn't, can't. All right, so here you look at the negative forms, and here you find the positive forms. In today's lesson, we are going to look at two specifically, will and would. Each of these modal verbs has, a number of functions, it performs. Now, one thing with a modal verb is that it enables you to communicate different ideas or to express your mood. All right, to talk about willingness, to talk about ability, to talk about possibility, to talk about probability, and so on and so forth. All right, perhaps one particular yes, it's not on this list, may and might. All right, may and might. Okay, so now let's begin to look at will and would. All right. Now, we have already stated the work that a modal auxiliary verb does in a sentence. Then, when specifically do you use will? You know, of course, when you are talking of, willingness to do something, all right? For instance, if you are talking about the future, for example, I'll visit grandma tomorrow or next week, all right? Now, the negative form of will is will not, or the contraction is won't, I won't. That's the short form. Then talking about would, we use would in most cases as the past tense of will, but when expressing politeness is really not in terms of, it's not used specifically as the past tense. So if you are talking of the past tense of will, you can use it in reported speech. John said he would, buy his mother a new car. John said he would, that's a reported speech. That's another function altogether. But when talking about the past tense specifically, you can say, when I was at the boarding school, I used to wake up very early in the morning and participate in the regular morning exercise. I would, all right, I would, to talk about something that habitually happened in the past, all right? Okay, so I believed it would rain, so I brought my raincoat, all right? I believed that was something in the past, The idea of, the action of bringing the raincoat also already happened, but that was because I believed it would rain, all right? Now, in expressing polite requests, you use would. Would you please take off your coat? Would you mind turning the radio off? All right, and so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about some uses of will, all right? Some of these uses are not frequently discussed, so I want to talk about them. Some of them are, commonly used. Some of the English users are not quite familiar with them, even though they might be using them, from time to time. Now, one of these communicative functions of will is to express your belief. All right? We will be there before the meeting starts. All right? We will be there. All right? So you express your belief. You can say, well, the team won't arrive before the kickoff time. Maybe you already knew something about a delay or something, and so you are saying that they won't arrive before the kickoff time. Now, the second thing is willingness, all right? To express your willingness. That's one of the communicative functions. For example, perhaps Susan will lend me her book, willingness. Perhaps she will be willing to do that. Perhaps Susan will lend me her book. Then you can use will also to talk about habits, something that someone does habitually. For instance, he will spend many hours watching the television. He will, spend many hours watching the television. Then another communicative function of will is, conditionals. You can use will in a conditional sentence. Of course, it occurs in the if. It is always used together with the if clause in a complex conditional sentence. Now, for example, if you come back late, Dad will cane you. All right? Or unless you work hard, you won't pass your exams. All right? Then another function is in talking about universal truths, something that is true all the time. For example, a cube of sugar will dissolve in water. A cube of sugar will dissolve in water. All right? Now, let's talk about the uses of would. Talking about the uses of will, we will still look at other uses. All right? But let's talk about some of the uses of would. We can also use would to talk about beliefs, something we believed in the past. I thought I would arrive before the meeting started. I held that belief in the past. I thought I would arrive before the meeting started. So there is a T missing here, all right? Then the second one is willingness as well. There was nobody left who would do it. That means nobody was willing to do it. There was nobody left who would do it. All right? Then the third one is habits. You use would to express habits in the past, something that habitually happened in the past. My sister and I would trek to school every day. We would trek to school every day. Then hypothesis. You can use would to talk about a hypothetical situation. All right? For example, without an alarm clock, Dan would sleep till noon. You see, that's a hypothetical situation. All right? It's an imaginary situation. It was not really something that Dan did, but probably considering his, tendency to oversleep, then, you hypothesize that without an alarm clock, Dan will sleep till noon. Then another communicative function of would is in giving advice. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. You can also use it to express a wish, all right? For example, I wish you would, do one thing or the other. Just, I wish I would do this or that. Now, you could also, for example, talk about if I had the money, I would buy the new house. If I had the money, I would buy the new house. All right, so let's now look at other uses of will and would. Now, these are common ones. Requests, you can use will to make a request. Will you help me? You can use would as well. Would you help me? All right. Would is more polite. It sounds more polite than will. If you want to sound more polite, you use would. Would you help me? Well, in informal situations, you can say, will you help me? Now, in refusal, all right? In refusal, if it is present for the present moment, it won't help me. It won't help me. All right? Or you can say, I won't help them. Then what of would? he wouldn't help me. That was in the past. I pleaded with him to help me, but he wouldn't help me. All right, that was in the past. Then in making offer or promises, you can use will, and you can also use would. Now, with will, you can say, I'll help you. I'll buy you a new phone. That is a promise. All right. I'll give you a discount. I'll give you a discount of 10%. That is an offer. Now, using would, you can say, well, I would have helped you. I would have helped you. Well, that is a kind of, I would have helped you. Now, we've talked about conditional. If he asks me, I will help him, If he asks me, I will help him. Okay, that's one particular way of, using will. Okay. Then with would, you can say, well, if he had asked me, I would have helped him. All right. Now, you can use will to express, to talk about a future action or intention. He will tutor me next month. All right. Or I will travel to Kano next week. Then you can talk about a future in the past. He promised he would, give me, he promised he would lend me his book. He would, all right? Now, of course, we have already looked at all these, but let's look at some other examples, okay? Will you help me? All right. Will you help me, type those papers or something? Then would you please turn on the lights? That's a polite request. He won't share his potato chips with me. That's refusal. He won't. He wouldn't, talking about the past. I'll help you, with your laundry. I would, I would bike to work almost every day. These are various examples. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's video. We have been talking about the communicative functions of modal verbs as part of our English grammar lesson. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, like the video and share the video with your friends and relations. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video goes live on the channel, you'll be notified instantly. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments box below. Now, I have a free PDF, that you can actually, you can pick. Just check the description section below. You will find a free PDF that will help you with aspects of English grammar. Perhaps you might also be interested in my complete package for effective English learning. It's an ebook, and quite a number of people who have used that book have a lot of positive things to say about the book, how helpful it is to an English learner, because it is an all-in-one package ebook. It explains, the various areas of proficiency in English, whether you are talking about the writing skills. All the writing skills are taught, letter writing, essay writing, article writing, speech writing, report writing, debate writing, story writing, all the forms of writing. You will learn writing skills. Then, of course, comprehension, how to, how to answer questions on comprehension, and summary writing. They are all in that book. Then talking also about the grammatical structures, you will find all aspects of lexis and structure, the parts of speech, the units of grammar, the use of tenses, the various grammatical rules. All right, they are all there. Then spelling, punctuation marks. Then you talk about the orals, talking about oral English, all the various aspects of oral English, vowel sounds, consonant sounds, stress, both syllable or word stress, stress patterns, intonations, sentence stress, emphatic stress or contrastive stress, rhymes, the various phonetic symbols, various aspects of the oral English. And then in addition to this, you also have past questions and answers, past English past questions and answers, in case you are preparing for your school certificate examination. Now, the book is a complete package for effective English learning. So you will find a link in the description box. If you are interested in getting a copy of the ebook, you just click on the link below and you'll be able to get your own copy. It's really very, very important. Then I think that's the much we can take for today's video. I want to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now and remain blessed.